No. Okay, anyway, let's continue.
Yeah, I put continue recording. I did Prabhuji.
Oh, you are recording?
Yeah, it showed in my screen, continue recording. So I put continue recording.
Okay, okay.
Hare Krishna devotees, download Param, all goes to Srila Prabhupada, text 61. Shandho hi mano ajito shastra va nina tat pado mule patito shabhe patuhu আচ্যুতন্না অন্ত সৎ ঈপ্সিত প্রভো বেত্তা যশম মা বহি বিশ্ব ভাবনা. Translation by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Joy. Durvâsâ Muni, the great mystic, scorched by the heat of the Sudarshan Chakra, fell at the lotus feet of Narayan. His body trembling, he spoke as follows: O infallible, unlimited Lord, protector of the entire universe, you are the only desirable objective for all devotees. I am a great offender. My Lord, please give me protection. So at last, Durvâsâ Muni, running here, there in three worlds, and getting directed by the Mahârâjas like Brahma, Shiva, ultimately came to surrender to the Lord Krishna in the form of Narayan and begging blessings and protections from him, because he is a great offender by offending a great devotee of Lord, and Lord will not tolerate any offense to his great devotee, though he may tolerate greatly to him. So though he came to the Lord for protection, but we'll see what the Lord will tell to him. Back to Prabhuji or Mataji. Sorry.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you very much. Thank you for reading. So, mysticism can only go so much. Mysticism, the effects of mysticism are only visible in this material world, and that too also very small extent. It's like if you decide to live in your own bubble, yeah, mysticism will be helpful. But as soon as we want to transcend these modes of material nature, even if we want to control our own anger, here we see that mysticism is no use, not at all useful. And he's trying to protect himself. We have so many cases where demons have been killed. But here we are seeing a very different scenario. He is a devotee. Durvâsâ Muni is a devotee of the Lord. He's considered to be incarnation of Lord Shiva, and he is worried because he's offended the devotee, and so he's praying his body, and he spoke this, that he is realizing that he's an offender, and he's speaking this. So please, Lord, give me protection. Hare Krishna. Anybody wants to add anything or any comments? Okay. Is anyone in position to read 4.62, please? Hare Krishna. Sudhir Prabhu, do you want to read? Raghu Prabhu, do you want to read?
Yeah, certainly I can read.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Text 62. Ajñātate paraman nubhavam kratan mayagam bhavataha prityanam videhi tasya pachitam vidatta muchyetayan nami udite narakopi. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. O my Lord, O Supreme Controller, without knowledge of your unlimited prowess, I have offended your most dear devotee. Very kindly save me from the reaction of this offense. You can do everything, for even if a person is fit for going to hell, you can deliver him simply by awakening within his heart the holy name of your Lordship. So here the Durvâsâ Muni has fallen at the feet of Narayana in Vaikuntha, and he's begging for his mercy. He has now realized that he has offended a devotee, which is the Lord doesn't like at all. The Lord completely depends on his devotee, on the other hand. So here, through his mysticism, practicing mysticism, he offended the devotee, and he has suffered a great offense for that. So now he's begging for mercy and hoping that the Lord will save him by awakening the Lord delivers those people who recite the holy name of the Lord. That's what he really wants, not all the other things, the knowledge or the mysticism and so on. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Raghu Prabhu, for reading, and thank you, Vipul Prabhu, for reading the previous one. This verse here we see starts with the word ajanata, without knowing that you, oh Krishna, you are the supreme controller, without knowledge of your unlimited prowess. So here it's very important to note that even Durvâsâ Muni is saying that he does not know Krishna's inconceivable powers. So what to speak of us? Person like Durvâsâ Muni tends to be extremely knowledgeable. And an ajanata word we also see in Bhagavad Gita, that ajanata mam mudham, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, without knowing my glories, this mudhas, this rascals, basically, Prabhupada used to translate. They don't know Krishna's powers, and so they commit offenses. If we always remember that Krishna's power is inconceivable, his potency is beyond us, we will remain humble. And also we need to think about his devotees. If we offend his devotees, no one can save us from that wrath. And so Durvâsâ Muni is praying, sincerely praying that even if a person is going to hell, you can deliver him by awakening within his heart the holy name. So holy name, we read about holy powers of holy name again and again and yet again. But please put yourself in the situation of Durvâsâ Muni running from the wrath of Sudarshan Chakra, running from planet to planet. And then he is understanding that if I just chant holy name, even now it will save me. So if only I can think about chanting while chanting this incident, it will be great benefit. That's what we can learn. Anyone wants to add anything? Any comments? Okay.
I just want to share one instance, Mataji, in Bhagavad Gita also. When Krishna he said he will not lift a weapon. But when Bhishma Pitamaha trying to kill Arjuna, so Bhishma Pitamaha made a promise to Duryodhana. So I will kill Arjuna, otherwise I will make Krishna lose his vow. So, but Krishna is not worried that he is standing on his words or not. So he is ready to protect his devotees. To protect Arjuna, he was so angry, he lifted the wheel of the chariot and he was very angry to throw at Bhishma Pitamaha. Even though Bhishma Pitamaha is a devotee, but Arjuna is very dear to Krishna. So that's what I was remembering this story when we was reading about taking care of his devotees.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for adding. And Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Please declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. His Krishna is always there to protect. Bhakta Vatsala. Thank you so much, Mataji, Renuka Mataji, for sharing. Would you like to read the next one, please?
Sure, Mataji.
Okay.
63. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Aham
Yes,
Bhakta
Mataji.
Aham Bhakta Paradino Hi asvatantra iva dvija sadhubhir grahata hrudayo bhaktair bhakta jana priyaha. Translation and purport by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahmana, I am completely under the control of my devotee. Indeed, I am not at all independent because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires. I sit only within the course of their hearts. What to speak of my devotees? Even those who are devotees of my devotees are very dear to me. Perfect. All the great stalwart personalities in the universe, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are fully under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is fully under the control of his devotee. Why is this? Because the devotee is Anya Bilashita Shunya. In other words, he has no material desires in his heart. His only desire is to think always of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to serve him best. Because of this transcendental qualification, the Supreme Lord is extremely favorable to the devotee. Indeed, not only the devotees, but also the devotees of the devotees. Srila Narottama Das Thakura says, Chadhiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Paye Che Keva. Without being a devotee of a devotee, one cannot be released from material entanglement. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu identified himself as Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dhasa Dasanudasa. Thus, he instructed us to become not directly servants of Krishna, but servants of the servants of Krishna. Devotees like Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, and Shukadeva Goswami are directly servants of Krishna. And one who becomes a servant of Narada, Vyasadeva, and Shukadeva, like the 6 Goswamis, is still more devoted. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura therefore says, Yasha Prasadat Bhagavat Prasada. If one very sincerely serves a spiritual master, Krishna certainly becomes favorable to such a devotee. Following the instructions of a devotee is more valuable than following the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. So very nice words, Mataji, about telling how Krishna is Aham Bhakta Paradino. So Krishna is tied by not with the ropes, he is tied by the love. We see Damodar Leela also. Mother Yashoda was tying Krishna with, she wants to teach him a lesson, but when she was trying her best, she was doing with more love and affection to tie Krishna. So by seeing her desire, Krishna get tied. Until then, she was not able to tie Krishna. So we can tie Krishna with our love. That is the bhakti of serving his devotees. Then only Krishna will be satisfied and fulfilled. So we know Prahlad Maharaj story also. Prahlad is not even scared or feared by an inch. Even though his father is giving him, he was a small kid. He was getting so much punishments and things, but still he was very, very dear to Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna is coming and personally protecting him. And he was coming and feeding him when he was hungry in the prison also. So it's a very, very nice. There are so many verses. So and Krishna tells to Narada Muni also that Aham Naham Tishtami Vaikunte Gayanti Madbhakta Tatra Tishtami Narada. So I will not reside in Vaikunta. I will live where my devotees are worshipping me, where my devotees are saying my name. So we know Hanuman also. Hanuman always stays where there is Lord Rama's names are glorified. So devotees are always likes to serve Krishna, but Krishna is always ready to serve his devotees. So, but we have to approach Krishna through our service parampara, like serving his devotees. That's why we have, everybody has a name like Dasi, Das at the end of initiated names. That means we are the servants, we are not the masters. We have to be always Das Anudas. That's what I understood, Mataji. Please add, Mataji. Thank you.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you for reminding us of that shloka. Yoginam Hridaye Nacha. Krishna is not reciting in hearts of the yogis, but Mad Bhakta Yatra Gayanti Tatra Tishtami Narada. I dwell not in Vaikuntha, not in the heart of the yogis, but I dwell where my devotees sing my name, O Narada. So that's for holy singing of the holy names. And then second part of the verse, thank you Mataji again, is really stressing on the fact that Dasanudas aspect. We must serve Krishna through his devotee, and we must serve his devotees through his devotees. It was Lord Chaitanya who said, if they just tell me that they want to serve me, then don't accept invitation, or I don't want to, then he won't take it seriously. But when they would say that I'm the servant of your servant, then they were able to get Lord Chaitanya's mercy. And we have to go to Krishna through the Guru. And that's a very important point that is stressed on here. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. One is sincerely serving spiritual master, then Krishna certainly becomes favorable to such a devotee. And there are pastimes based on that fact too, that a devotee is worshipping deity of Krishna, but that in his spiritual master comes in the temple, and then he says, this, my Lord, please accept my leave here, because your devotee, your pure devotee has come in the temple, and so there's no one else to receive him. So it's my first duty is to go and receive him. Because when we offer them the respect and worship, that's a person Bhagavat, then we get a lot of mercy. And we sing that pranam mantra every day too, that we have to serve the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is a book, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and a devotee is also considered in the same category, because he's following the instructions of Krishna. He's following the parampara, is following in that lineage of das, anudas. And our tendency is to become the Lord of all we serve. Our tendency is to really just serve our false egos. But we are reminded again and again that the nectar, start getting taste of the bhakti when you're serving devotees, Lord's exalted devotees. Mad bhaktya puja bhidika. In the 12th canto, this shloka will come. That more dear to me is than me is to more dear to me is the person who is serving my devotee. Mad bhakta puja bhidika. Thank you, Mataji. Anybody wants to add anything? It's a very nice purport here. Any comments or questions? Kirti Mataji, would you like to read text 64, please?
Yes, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, text 64. Naham atman bhashase madbhakte sadur birvina shriyam chatyaki kim brahman esham gatiraham para. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. O best of Brahmanas, without saintly person, for whom I am the only destination, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss and my supreme opulences. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient, but to enjoy his transcendental bliss, he requires the corporation of his devotee. In Vrindavana, for example, although Lord Krishna is full in himself, he wants the corporation of his devotee, like the cowherd boys and gopis, to increase his transcendental bliss. Such a pure devotee who can increase the pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are certainly most dear to him. Not only does the Supreme Personality of Godhead enjoy the company of his devotee, but because he is unlimited, he wants to increase his devotee unlimitedly. Thus, he descends to the material world to induce non-devotees and rebellious living entity to return home back to Godhead. He requests them to surrender unto him because, unlimited as he is, he wants to increase his devotees unlimitedly. The Krishna conscious movement is an attempt to increase the number of pure devotees of the Supreme Lord more and more. It is certain that the devotee who helps in this endeavor to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes indirectly a controller of Supreme Lord, Although the Supreme Lord is full in six opulence, he does not feel transcendental bliss without his devotee. An example that may be cited in this regard is that if a rich man does not have a son in a family, he does not feel happiness. Indeed, sometimes a rich man adopts a son to complete his happiness. The science of transcendental bliss is known to pure devotee. Therefore, the pure devotee is always engaged in increasing the transcendental happiness of the Lord. So, this is very nice purport and translation given by Prabhupada. And here, Lord is talking to Durvâsâ Muni, and he said, "O best of Brahmana, without saintly person, for whom I am the only destination." So he's giving him this hint that I am the controller and I am the destination for each and every Brahmanas or saintly persons. And here, when he said that Naham Atmanam Ashase, so he he's saying that without his devotee, he cannot feel the transcendental bliss. And Prabhupada has given the example that when the Lord was in Vrindavana, he wanted to enjoy with his devotee like cowherd boys, gopis, Mother Yashoda, and so on. And each and every in his Leela, he's enjoying with the devotee like Arjuna. He was his friend and he gave him the best of the knowledge on the battle of Kurukshetra. So as a devotee, as a friend, he was helping him to re-establish the dharma, and that was the purpose of the Lord coming on the earth planet. And we can see like a couple of examples he has established with the simple devotional service, like Mother Kunti, then Draupadi. For them, he was just like a family member, and without their association, he was feeling alone. So he was not ready to go to Dwarka when Mother Kunti was requesting him not to go. So he stayed there at the beginning of the, I think,
First canto.
first canto. Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kirti Mataji. Thank you very much for nice examples. So this verse reminds me of a text, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, second chapter, text 28 and 29. Vasudeva paraveda, Vasudevam paramakha, Vasudevam parayoga, Vasudevam parakriya, Vasudevam param jnanam, Vasudeva param tapa, Vasudeva paro dharmo, Vasudeva paragati. So here Krishna is saying, but all this is what all the world thinks, that I am the supreme destination. But for me, I cannot enjoy the bliss without my devotees. And when you quoted so many nice examples, Mataji, in addition to that, Lord Chaitanya, he would not leave to go for Vrindavan, which was his heart's most intimate desire for so many years, to go to Vrindavan. I mean, he's Radharani, and in he's Krishna himself in Radharani's bhav, and still he wants to go to Vrindavan, but without permission of all his devotees, he would not go. And he would wait for months and months and months, but without their blessings, he wouldn't not go. And it was also very important for him to go when Advaita Acharya, when Gadadhara Pandit was completely satisfied. Gadadhara Pandit was Kshetra Sannyasi, and he said, Yoka Rasatala, means go to hell, this my sannyasa vow. And Lord Chaitanya said, no, you should not say that, please go back. And Gadadhar Pandit went back to Jagannath Puri to take care of his deities. And actually, he really wanted to go with Lord Chaitanya to Vrindavan. But Lord Chaitanya said all this to him. Gadadhar Pandit went back, and soon right after, even Lord Chaitanya could not go to Vrindavan without his devotees. So the Lord is really mercifully shows how important his devotees are to him, that he cannot enjoy his transcendental bliss and supreme opulence without devotees. Radhika Raman Prabhu was giving a class one time, and he said, you know what is Krishna without Vrindavan and without his devotees? He said, he's a big zero. And I was very new devotee then. Like, well, I didn't even understand much. But he said, Krishna without his devotees is not even possible. And, there's, because we are talking about bhakti. Bhakti is a rasa, bhakti is a relationship. And so this is what our ultimate treasure. And here Prabhupada is also talking about very important point is our ISKCON movement is an attempt to increase the number of pure devotees of the Supreme Lord more and more. So we really want to please Krishna. The word Bhavananda means one who enjoys the bhavas, this material world. And Prabhupada said again that the only pleasure in material world is to bring people back to Krishna consciousness. It's a very important duty. You can pay my debt. One devotee asked Prabhupada, you have done so much for us. How can we pay back your debt? And Prabhupada said, go on preaching and give others what I have given you. And that's the only way to pay this debt of spiritual master. So it's very important to attempt. We can only try to increase the number of pure devotees, share Krishna consciousness, share this most transcendental gift. Because some gifts they increase by giving. Yeah, unlike material opulence, it reduces when you give, but this opulence, it increases when you give. And we know that it increases Lord's happiness. And the rich man's example is very apt here. We see this happening that rich people adopt son because they want to complete their happiness. Otherwise, who would enjoy, how can they not have a living relationship with the person? How can they not? Even Lord, we were discussing this in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class today. After Lord Nrsingadev saw that how Prahlad was in a Vatsalya Bhav, all the future incarnations have parents, and the Vatsalya Rasa is very prominent. So this Rasa is very important, relationship. That's what Bhakti is about. And therefore the pure devotee is always engaged in increasing this transcendental happiness of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Would anybody like to add any comment or question here? Swati Mataji, are you in position to read?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Let me pray.
Thank you.
Text 65. Idhara ghara utrapta pranam vitham imam param hitvamam sharanam yattaha katam tvam tvaktam ushahum. Translation. Since pure devotees give up their homes, wives, children, relatives, riches, and even their lives simply to serve me without any desire for material improvements in this life or in the next, how can I give up such devotees at any time? Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped by the words Brahmanya Deva Go Brahmana Hitayacha. Thus he is the well-wisher of the Brahmanas. Durvâsâ Muni was certainly a very great Brahmana, but because he was a non-devotee, he could not sacrifice everything in devotional service. Great mystic yogis are actually self-interested. The proof is that when Durvâsâ Muni created a demon to kill Mahârâja Ambarîsha, the king stayed fixed in his place, praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and depending solely and wholly on him. Whereas when Durvâsâ Muni was chased by the Sudarshan Chakra, the supreme will of the Lord, he was so perturbed that he fled all over the world and tried to take shelter in every nook and corner of the world. At last, in fear of his life, he approached Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was so interested in his own body that he wanted to kill the body of a Vaishnava. Therefore, he did not have very good intelligence. And how can an unintelligent person be delivered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead? The Lord certainly tries to give all protection to his devotees who have given up everything for the sake of serving him. Another point in this verse is the attachment to Dharagara Putrapta, home, wife, children, friendship, society, and love is not the way to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who is attached to earth and home for material pleasure cannot become a pure devotee. Sometimes a pure devotee may have habit or attraction for wife, children, and home, but at the same time want to serve the Supreme Lord to the best of his ability. For such a devotee, the Lord makes special arrangement to take away the objects of his false attachment and thus free him from the attachment to wife, home, children, friends, and so on. This is the special mercy bestowed upon the devotee to bring him back home, back to Godhead. So here in this verse, we see how it is explained about the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. And now when there is problem, immediately the devotee takes complete shelter of the Lord. And here we see, in this case, Lord Mahârâja Ambarîsha took complete shelter of the Lord, whereas when Durvâsâ Muni was in trouble, when the Sudarshan Chakra was coming to attack him, he depended on many other things than on the Lord. So Prabhupada is giving the difference between these two and how we can make out the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. And he also says about how the Vaishnava is a non-Vaishnava. He's interested only in his self rather than his own self rather than others or even the Lord. And then in the next paragraph, he explains about attachment. So usually a pure devotee is never attached to any material pleasures. But sometimes if a normal devotee is attached to any of these things like wife, children, home, and then the Lord makes arrangement for the purification of the devotee so that he can come back to him. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Swati Mataji, for reading. Very well commented. In the 5th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Prabhupada writes that when the living entity becomes exactly like a monkey, jumping from one branch to another, he remains in the tree of household life without any profit but sex. Thus, he is kicked by his wife just like the he-ass. Unable to gain release, he remains helplessly in that position. Sometimes he falls victim to an incurable disease, which is like falling into a mountain cave. He becomes afraid of death, which is like the elephant in the back of that cave. And he remains stranded, grasping at the twigs and branches of a creeper. So this is our position, is that we remain so attached in this material world, jumping from one branch to another, that Krishna really is so merciful to give us his special favor. And in addition, the very, very important point here is that Prabhupada is not speaking of just a person who is attached to his life, but he's also trying to practice Krishna consciousness. So he's definitely much advanced than the purport I just read. But he's saying that this a devotee, sometimes a pure devotee may have a habit or attraction for wife, right? So sometimes it's not just a common person, the materialistic person. Even devotee could get falsely attached. So here, false attachment is very important. You can have a good attachment if a spouse is a devotee and Krishna is the center of your relationship. If Krishna is in the center and husband and wife are together to serve the Lord, then that's a totally different scenario. But here, the attachment is the false attachment. So it's on the bodily level, bodily platform, not in the transcendental service together. So then Prabhupada says, then Krishna will take that away. He will free that person from an attachment, such false attachment. And this is the special mercy bestowed upon the devotee to bring him back to home, back to Godhead. So we have to see that Durvâsâ Muni is such an exalted person. He's seeing Krishna here. He's Krishna, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha, Lord is addressing him here. It's not easy to attain Lord. Dhruva Maharaj did austerities for 6 months. He was eating every third day. He was then breathing for after every few days. It's a very difficult austerity for 6 months, the little baby boy. Prachitas did austerity for 10,000 years underwater to see Lord. But Maharaj, this Durvâsâ Muni, he's seeing Lord very effortlessly, seems like. He just ran into Lord. It's not that he did some extra austerities to see Lord. So he's a very exalted person. But such a person could also have attachment to his body because he wants to save his body, but the Durvâsâ Muni wanted to kill the body of a Vaishnava. So it's inconceivable. And therefore, Prabhupada is pointing out to us that it's very important to have good intelligence, and it's very important not to have false attachment with our body. But Krishna is so merciful that he will still deliver us. Still, there is a hope for us, and always Krishna has a plan. His plan is perfect and complete. Ishopanishad verse, everything is perfect and complete. And then again, we are reminded that how Durvâsâ Muni has fled all over the world, and then Krishna is the only shelter. I believe that's also in the verse, Mam Sharanam. So, and then he's trying to take that shelter again, just like Gajendra did. His wives tried to save him, Dara, that word is again used in the shloka. And he depended on that, his own strength, but nothing could do. And then he remembers Lord, and as soon as one takes complete shelter of Lord, give up this false attachment, then Lord does not disappoint us. Maro bhi rakho bhi. Well, he can do whatever he wants, but when Krishna wants to save you, who can harm you? And when Krishna wants to harm you, who can save you? Mare Krishna rakhe Krishna mare ke. Hari Bol. Would anyone like to add anything? Sudhir Prabhu, Renuka Mataji, Vipul Prabhu, anyone else? Okay. Sudhir Prabhu, would you like to read? And then Ekanta Prabhu or Sharanya Mataji, can you please read after that?
Mataji, Prabhuji is in a different call.
Okay, no worries. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Ekant Prabhu or Sharanya Mataji, would you like to please read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, yes, I'll read.
Thank you.
Mataji, I just joined in the middle. Can you please tell me the verse number? I'm trying to figure out.
Sure. 9466.
9466.
Canto, chapter 466. Mai Nirbadha Hrudaya, that one.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. Mai Nirbadha Hrudaya Sadha Samadarshana Vashe Kurvanti Mam Bhaktya Sat Striya Satpatim Yatha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. As chaste women bring their gentle husbands under control by service, the pure devotees, who are equal to everyone and completely attached to me in the core of heart, bring me under their full control. In this verse, the word Samadarshana is significant. A pure devotee is actually equal towards everyone, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 18.54. Brahma-Bhutah Prasannath na sochati na kanshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu. Universal brotherhood is possible when one is a pure devotee. Panditaha Samadarshina. A pure devotee is actually learned because he knows his constitutional position. He knows the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he knows the relationship between the living entity and the Supreme Lord. Thus, he has full spiritual knowledge and is automatically liberated, Brahma-Bhutah. He can therefore see everyone as is on the spiritual platform. He can comprehend the happiness and distress of all living entities. He understands that what is happiness to him is also happiness to others, and that what is distress to him is distressing for others. Therefore, he is sympathetic to everyone. As Prahlad Maharaj said, Shoche tato vimukta chetasa indriyartha Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimodhan. People suffer from material distress because they are not attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A pure devotee's chief concern, therefore, is to raise the ignorant mass of people to the sense of Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Mataji. Back to you.
Mataji, please add your famous summary.
So Mataji, reading this purport, what I understood is like the example of Tampa devotees, how they're equal to everybody. As a newcomer, when I met everybody, like in 2018, I guess, 19, they were the same. Even today, 2 years after their association also, they are the same. The love, the affection. I think because they don't see me as me, but they see me, they see the super soul in me, as if I'm one of the living beings that Krishna has created, and Krishna resides in my heart. So I think they always see the super soul that's residing in me. So they're always affectionate. They know. I talk to some devotees. I share my personal things with them. So they know that they don't judge me because they know that there is Krishna residing in me. So this purport, I that's only coming to my mind, Mataji. As devotees, we are same to everybody. We have to teach them or preach Krishna consciousness, that the supreme gift that we can give anybody, and that's the gift that I got from the other devotees. And thank you. That's what came to my mind, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharanya Mataji. Very nice. This Prabhupada here talks about 18.54. Brahma-Bhutah Prasannath na shochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu. And then the next line is Madbhaktim labhate param. So Madbhaktim parame labhate param means and once they are in the universal brotherhood consciousness, then they get the most pure, then they come back to me, then they get, in that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So this seems like a pre-qualification, is that once we have to have Pandita Samadarshana, to approach Krishna, to get our purification. This universal brotherhood concept is nothing new. Even the dacoits, there is some brotherhoods, there is some they have some sort of bonding with each other. They have a lot of care for each other. So so it's very important for devotees to go beyond that, not just one who on the bodily designation, that he's Indian, Chinese, he speaks my language, Tamil, Telugu, whatever, Marwadi, or he looks like me, or my gender, or my country, or my caste, or my county, whatever. So not to look beyond that, that Krishna is seated in everyone's heart, and he's the universal father. He's our Lord and protector, and he's the only he's the seed giving father. So once we see that, then we see that everybody is our brother and sister. Everybody's equally, we need to be equally disposed to everyone. And Prabhupada said, the only problem in this world, it comes in many purports, is that lack of Krishna consciousness. And what is this Krishna consciousness? Is understanding that Krishna is our Supreme Father. And that is the full spiritual knowledge. And one becomes automatically liberated, Brahma-Bhutah, if we see everybody on the spiritual platform. And then Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 7.9 is point 43 is quoted. Prabhupada very nicely ends. A pure devotee's concern there is therefore to raise the ignorant mass of people to the sense of Krishna consciousness. So this should be our main concern. Is to preach, is to share the gift of Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada also said that 95% people are not demoniac in the nature, but they are actually innocent people, but they get misguided. Currently, we are misguided by the weapons of mass distraction. Everything is there. Social media is there to divide. There's so much misinformation, and there's so much chaos, and everybody is like just looking either into themselves, and they are so lost. And this world is in a great, great need of Krishna consciousness right now. Would anybody like to add anything? Oh, and the main important point, I wanted to say this. A chaste woman brings their gentle husband under control by service. So there's one very nice example Radha Priya Mataji from Mumbai gave. She's Mafathlal, famous Mafathlal, Krishna Chandra Prabhu's wife. That men is like considered like a head, right? Men is like considered like a head, but woman is like a neck. So it's woman's job to bear to turn the head. And similarly, it's Krishna is like that husband. Krishna is everybody's husband, but a chaste woman knows how to control, because love is controlled by the lover is controlled by the love, by unconditional love, and that thus one conquers Krishna and brings him under complete control. Krishna is Madan Mohan, he attracts everybody, but Radharani is Madan Mohan Mohini. She completely attracts Krishna, and that's how she brings him under his control, her control, sorry. Any comments or questions, Prabhu? Okay. Ekant Prabhu, would you like to read next one? Or are we at that time? Would you like to read this?
Sure, Mataji. I mean, if it's time, I can read tomorrow. You want me to?
Is it a small one? Yeah, it's not too big. Yes, Prabhu. Please read.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Text 67. Text 67.
Yeah, 67.
Okay. Mat sevaya praktitam te salokhyadi chatusthayam nischanti sevaya purana kutonyata kala vipultam. Translation purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. My devotees, who are always satisfied to be engaged in my loving service, are not interested even in the four principles of liberation: Salokya, Swarupya, Samipya, and Saristi. Although these are automatically achieved by their service. What then is to be said of such perishable happiness as elevation to the higher planetary systems? Purport. Srila Bilomanga Thakura has estimated the value of liberation as follows. Muktihi swayam mukutanjali seva asam dharmartha kama gatyah samyak pratiksha. Bilumangal Thakur realized that if one develops his natural devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukti stands before him with folded hands to offer all kinds of service. In other words, the devotee is already liberated. There is no need for him to aspire for different types of liberation. The pure devotee automatically achieves liberation even without desiring it. Thank you, Mataji. Back to you. Please explain.
Prabhu, would you like to add something?
Sure, Mataji. I'm not at that level, but what I understand a little bit is, if you are sincerely serving the Lord with unavoided, uninterrupted motivated service, there nothing else you would be aspiring for. Everything will come close to you. But persons who are doing that service will not have any other vision as well. Like, they have to be liberated or anything. With only motto they will be having will be to serve the Lord without any without any motivation. So they'll be at that stage. And Bilamanga Thakur also simply stating that mukti is like, if you are sincerely sincerely offering the devotional service to Supreme, mukti is in front of you, like folding hands, which is like everyone aspires for it. But when person is sincerely doing devotional service, mukti itself is before him to do the service. And that's one small thing I want to add, Mataji. Thank you. Please explain for me.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. The only thing I remember is that instead of somebody gives we want to use some pot, let's say, and somebody gives us a silver pot, then somebody else gives us a golden pot, then somebody gives us a diamond pot, but then somebody gives us this Akshay Patra, in which you just have it produces enough food for everybody for that day. I think that Akshay Patra is very important, because you don't even have to cook. All your problems are taken care of. You don't have to worry about even cutting the vegetables or anything. So this is such an automatic path. It's like putting your car in the auto mode. You don't have to drive. So this is like effortlessly, even without desiring, automatically. This muktis are coming there with the folded hands, and they are there to serve you, instead of you doing all kinds of austerities, standing on the 10,000 years for 10,000 years on your single feet, or any other austerities, thousands of Ashwamedh yagyas, or to attain this planet of Indra, or position of Indra, or any other different austerities that we have seen. And there are so many, fasting for multiple months, so on, and so they're doing different yagyas, so on and so forth. So here pure devotee automatically achieves liberation even without desiring it. So it is just like byproduct. It's a insignificant byproduct of bhakti, is this mukti, and it's always subservient. And why would Krishna take tell this to Durvâsâ Muni at this point? Because Krishna wants to really stress the importance of bhakti. Whereas this munis like Durvâsâ Muni, they tend to do austerities for liberation most of the times. Okay, are there any questions or comments at this point? Okay, Hare Krishna. So with that, we will end for today. Granthara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitana Vaishnavebhyo namaha. Thank you very much for your most valuable time. I'm so grateful. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.